Hello, everyone. I am so proud and privileged that my guest today is Yasmin Suri. Say hello.
Hello.
Yasmin is a renowned artist. She is a vocalist. She is an influencer with thousands and probably hundreds of thousands of fans across the United States. She is just an amazing person, a businesswoman, a gorgeous lady, a beautiful soul. And I just came across on my life journey Yasmin's performance, and I was just, blown away. It was so beautiful. Her voice is angelic. And I'm proud to present Yasmin today, and hopefully she can answer some questions for us. And this will be a beautiful interview.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. We're doing it, Yasmin. I'm so glad. You always post on Facebook. I know you have a YouTube channel. I know you also an author. You wrote two books. Correct me. So I thought it was just one, but sounds like there's two. But with all these accomplishments, how was your beginning of your path to success? Was it easy, or did you have some struggles and things that you can teach all of us how to overcome to such a great successful life?
Well, it would have been very difficult had I not surrendered my life to the Lord, to God, to change me because, boy, I was such a mess. And a lot of us come from broken families and broken hearts and broken lives.
And how did you deal with it? Was it somewhere in your journey started in India, correct? You are from India and continued in United States. Uh, Give us a little timeline. How was it growing up? And, how is it you found your strengths to be so accomplished today?
Well, when I was born in India, for sure, and I came to America at the age of almost 5 years old. And I was raised believing in the gods of my culture. And I did not know who God was. I just always had a hunger for God since I was a child. I would always go into the prayer room of this unknown God or the false God that I grew up with. And I didn't know who he was. But when I came to America, I was pretty traumatized as a child. Even though children are very resilient, I was very traumatized. And so it was a shock to me. It was like what they call post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's what I believe that happened to me. And I saw my parents, and I really didn't know who they were. I thought my grandparents were my parents. And so I grew up just shutting down my emotions. I would get spanked so hard. My mother would spank me so hard, and I wouldn't let a tear come out until she spanked me hard enough where a tear came out. And I was so just shut down, just unhappy. And I started encountering spirits when I was a child, and I thought they were angels, but they were actually they were Satan was disguising himself. His angels were disguising themselves as light when they were dark. And I started becoming very sad. I remember I took a whole bunch of pills when I was like 8 years old, 8 or 9 years old, and I tried to commit suicide the last time when I was like 19 or 20 years old. I was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance. And I was brought up in a family that, a broken family where my father didn't affirm me, and my mother worked a lot to support us. And it was very difficult. And I didn't grow up with affirmation. And I was never good enough because in India, there's so much pride.
And you basically, through all these difficult times, were looking for acceptance. We're looking for someone to love you and somebody to shine that light of acceptance upon you. How did you find it? How did you find your wins, your strengths to soar so high? As you are now world-known artist and amazing performer and many other things, and influencer and businesswoman. How did this happen for you?
Well, I was searching for the truth, and I started having relationships uh, because I didn't have a father that was present, and I was very broken, and so I never had a father that affirmed me or told me that I was beautiful or that I was this princess. and that gave me physical affection. And so because of that, I looked for that in the wrong relationships with the wrong men. And I would, just like most women do, they think that they can find a man, and any man that will give them attention or have sex with, that everything is great and they're loved. And they don't realize that that's not love. Love is commitment. And so I started growing up like that and finding relationships like that were just unhealthy and broken. Broken people find broken people.
So with that said, what is like to be Yasmin Suri? Gorgeous, beautiful. Everyone, admires you, but what is it like to be a beautiful woman in the modern world?
Well, my saying is women hate me because they want to be me, and men hate me because they can't have me.
Oh my gosh, that is the wisdom. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I love it. Yep, that makes a lot of sense, Yasmin.
And you're a beautiful woman, so I'm sure that
Thank you. How do you deal with that? So how do you deal with that? Do you just pray and meditate and let it go and say, hey, I come with love, and if you don't, then just your journey maybe is still in progress.
Well, God gives us discernment. You got to discern who's a snake. You have to discern their behavior and how they treat you. Are they jealous of you? Because there are women jealous as well as men. And in the Bible, I mean, there are men that are jealous of women, and they want to get the same attention. They want their talents. They want their looks. And those are the kind of men that abuse women. Those are the kind of men that have wandering eyes. They have a way of passive aggressive behavior to punish women that have anything that they don't have, because it's a competition. And this is nothing new. In the beginning of the Bible, it started with two brothers, Cain and Abel.
Competition, yes, yes. So would you say that your life mission, or one of your life missions, is to be a minister? Because sounds like you found faith. Sounds like you had a difficult time with your family accepting your newly found faith, because it differed so much from where and how you grew up and what you were expected to accept as your faith. But is it something that would be fair to say that part of your mission in life is to be a minister, to speak your faith? And would that be a part of it? Or what is the purpose of life? Give us both.
Well, before I was a Christian, my biggest questions were, where did I come from? Where am I going when I die? And why am I here? And I was always searching for that truth, because I felt this emptiness inside of me, and it was like a big black hole. No matter what I filled it with, I knew I was alive, but I was dead inside. I felt that deadness inside of me. And I knew that only there's got to be an answer. And so here I am going through my life, and I'm trying to fill it with sex, with partying, with drinking, with wrong relationships, with materialism, with, I dropped out of high school when I was in 10th and a half grade. It was terrible. I mean, I was thrown out on the street. I was asked to leave the house. I was in one foster home. I was in runaway shelters, and I lived a life of loneliness, and I lived a life of brokenness. And I got more involved in what I call mystical spirituality, where it would be that we are all little gods, and we are a part of God, and everything's God. And it's called the New Age movement. And it fed on my pride and my ego. I was able to read people's minds. I was able to have psychic abilities. I was able, being from India, to teach people how to be more, quote, spiritual. But I didn't know that this spirituality was coming from darkness, not the light of Jesus Christ. And so when I became a Christian and I repented of all this, God gave me things that I never thought I could get. I couldn't get in the world. which is I saw myself as sinning against God. I was broken and nobody could fix me, no matter how many times, how many people take drugs, alcohol, alcoholism, if they go to counseling, if they take antidepressants, it doesn't matter what they take to numb the pain. No one can heal the pain except the one that made you. He's called the great physician, the great I am. That's why we celebrate Christmas. That's why we celebrate Easter. He is the living God, Jesus.
Wow. I feel so much coming from that side of the computer screen that I feel like such a heathen here. You know so much and you share so freely. You told me you are transparent. So, you know, everybody's face is different. Everyone's journey is different. But your journey brought you to the face, which you now share freely and you minister to other people. Hey, look at me. I came from the humble, broken, difficult childhood, and look at me now. And this is what took me there, my faith. And I'm so amazed how, when I watch your Facebook videos, I know you just talk about your life. If anybody, do you post those on the YouTube channel? Did you mention that YouTube channel, that maybe if somebody wants to come and learn more about you, where would that be that they would find you?
Yes, my YouTube channel is Yaz Media, YAZMEDIA on YouTube. And I post all my videos from Facebook onto YouTube as well.
So anybody who wants to learn more about your life's journey, well, tell me, if people come by and they look at you, what is the biggest misconception that they might have, that others may have about you when they meet you?
That's a great question. And I feel that when people look at me, they think a godly woman should look a certain way. No glamour, no makeup, very homely, that you can't be glamorous and love God. That you can't, I mean, we are not supposed to look like a man. We are supposed to look like beautiful women of God. And I think that the worst thing that I get is women. I know some very evil, wicked women that wear no makeup and look very homely and look unattractive. They're wicked, wicked, wicked women in their hearts.
I feel this, there is conviction coming through this camera. Anybody, let's be kind. Let's be kind, and let's not expect, if the woman is glamorous, then she has to be in some other way deficient. You can be efficient and you can be glamorous and you can be godly according to all the wisdom from Yasmin. Look at her. She's definitely someone who is thrown in her face and looks like a Hollywood star. I mean, forget Hollywood stars. She looks much better to me, and I love it from this screen, admiring from afar. But Yasmin, give us a couple of things of imparted wisdom, the best motto you use in life, anything that comes to mind, a quote, or maybe something that helps you through your day.
I think that it's better to give than to receive. I think that a generous heart is so vital. Jesus even said it's better to give than to receive. And when we give, we expect nothing in return. There's no ulterior motive. There's no agenda. There's no, if I do it for you, you got to return the favor for me. Like the world does, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It is an unconditional love of that we give without expecting anything in return. Freely I have given, or God has given to me, and freely I give back to you. Love your neighbor as yourself. How you want to be treated, I'm going to treat you how I would want to be treated.
Sounds perfect to me. What means to love yourself? A lot of people have a difficulty loving themselves. What do you think? I read somewhere that loving yourself is the first experience to the imperfect human being's acceptance. Meaning, when you love yourself, you accept your imperfection, and that teaches you how to accept others as other obviously we're all imperfect, whether we like to admit it or not. We're a work in progress. What does it mean to love yourself to you?
I believe that loving yourself is loving God, because I didn't love myself my whole life. I couldn't even properly love anyone because I didn't know God, who is love. So until we get to the place that we see ourselves as broken sinners, broken all of God's commandments, we're deserving of death and the wrath of God upon us, and we come to the foot of the cross and we ask and receive God's forgiveness, we cannot give forgiveness and we can't give love, because God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. That means once I receive God's love, I see how much he values me. And without me seeing myself through his eyes, I'm unable to love anybody. And really, it's then I can deny myself, take up my cross and follow him. I have to even hate my own life. But my life is valuable only because of God, because of Jesus. There is no other value in life. If I go out there and make a title for myself and sing more and write more books and make money, it's meaningless. All in life is vanity. It's
So,
vanity.
so for you and in your life perspective, you found to love yourself is to practice your faith, to be close to your creator, and to sort of give your life as a mission to fulfill the goal of sort of becoming a minister to other souls out there. That sounds like
It's about purpose.
purpose
What is our purpose, mission on life? Because what we do here, we're going to be judged for in eternity before God's great white throne judgment. The books are going to be open, the Bible says, and we're going to be judged whether we did evil or good. And if our name is not found in the Lamb's Book of Life, we're not going to make it into heaven. So Jesus gave that great commission: go out into the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He gave it to all of us.
so I don't have an excuse. I've heard it. So you shared it with me today. I don't have an excuse. I did hear the gospel today from you, which is I am very grateful, because I think, whether everybody has a different faith and persuasion and denomination, but I'm always open to listen to everyone's desire to share. I think none of us have arrived, none of us knows it all, but if we can learn from each other, and if we can, listen to each other's souls trying to impart some wisdom upon us, I think we all benefit that way. Which brings me to my next question. Let me have you complete some sentences real quick. For example, I know I grew up when
I took responsibility for my sins and my own behavior and the outcome of it.
forgiveness is
Receiving God's forgiveness and then being able to forgive others and not holding what they did against them, to where I am not out to bring vengeance on them, but leaving the vengeance to God. Doesn't mean trusting someone. It just means you let go of the judgment pronounced on them.
how to deal with difficult people.
Well,
Well,
the first thing I do, honey, is I forgive them right away. When I even think about people that have harmed me or do me wrong, it doesn't matter. I mean, we get, every day that we live, we're getting harmed by a friend, a coworker, the news, family member, spouse, children. It doesn't matter who it is. We are experiencing some sort of harm and tribulation. And the first thing I do is forgive. And with that forgiveness, I have to decide, do I want this person in my life or do I not?
Next question. What is the biggest lesson you learned from relationships, any relationships, parents, siblings, friends, love interests, biggest
I
relationship
learned,
lessons?
yeah, I learned that no one on this earth, no one will ever be there for you 100%, and they can forsake you at any given moment except Jesus. He is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. He will never leave us or forsake us, even though other people will.
Well, I feel like we have to call it Yasmin Suri Ministries today. This interview has been so insightful. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to keep it real a little bit here, bring us down to earth and ask you some fun questions. What does Yasmin do for fun? You have so many talents, but anything we don't know, anything you enjoy in your spare time?
I love gardening. I love flowers. I love planting. I love pulling. I love sewing. I love all those things because it reminds me of scriptures of what does it mean to sow and reap? What does it mean to plant? What does it mean if a seed falls into the ground and dies? It cannot bear fruit until it dies. I mean, what are all these things? All the gardening is related to farming and the Bible. I love it. It relaxes me, and I love ice cream, and I love beaches.
Yasmin, I know that you have been all over United States and you have, participated in variety of performances, the highest, levels from government to entertainment industry. Tell us, what are the great people or maybe some celebrities that you met?
I've met a lot of them. I've met a lot of them. I think one of the greatest that I have met that really blessed me was Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence, because he's such an inspiration and a godly man. The way he treats his wife and how he won't even be with another woman that's not his wife alone, and it's just I love. He's got an anointing. He's got a presence on him, on his life, and that was a blessing for me. And I've met a lot of stars. I used to work in Bloomingdale's in New York as a model, so I've met a lot of stars there before I was a Christian. But people are people, and I don't treat them as stars, but people are people, and they need to be treated like normal human beings. But it's been a privilege for me to be able to share Christ with. He was a Lebanon consulate general for 3 hours. I shared Christ with him.
Wow.
And he laughed, but that's okay. He did listen, and he was very kind. But it's an honor to be able to be around dignitaries and military and the government, to be able to share Christ. That's been my greatest blessing.
And you sing national anthem at the events, and you sing in front of FBI and probably CIA and Homeland Security. So if anyone probably recognizes your name and of course your beautiful voice, what is your favorite song to sing?
I love the national anthem. I love God Bless America. I love worship music, Christian worship music. I mean, I don't have a favorite one, I think, but I love being brought into an environment, and I know things have changed quite a bit with COVID, or that C word, I can't say it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. And everything going on, the events have been minimized, and some of them are gone completely, but it has been an incredible, almost about 11 years of singing for the governments, and God has a calling on each one of our lives, and I am honored to be used by God in whatever capacity that he has me.
Yasmin, if somebody who doesn't know you came across your path and you would have to write an operation manual, how to handle Yasmin Suri, what would you write? The top three? Handle with care. I mean, what would the operation manual top 3 would be? How to handle Yasmin for somebody who doesn't know you? What would be top 3?
So I would say, pray for me. Number one, pray for me always, that God's hand of protection would surround me and my family, even though I have no relationships with any of them. Still pray for the protection of my inheritance, number one. Number two, be transparent, because I don't like games. I don't like fakeness. And number three, be open if you need help, because I can lead you to the one who is your answer, Jesus, the Messiah.
So you're approachable, and if somebody is looking to have a candid conversation with someone about being in pain, being lost, and they may be looking for spiritual guidance, and they are accepting of biblical precepts, that you would be someone who would step in and just embrace and help them through, sort of like the minister or the counselor would, or just a good friend.
Yeah, and even if they're not accepting of biblical concepts, I can introduce them, because that's what I believe in. God is our maker. He made us, and the one who made us knows how to fix us. He's the mighty counselor, and he knows what to do with us. No man can fix us, only God.
I think that this was so insightful today. I hope we do it again. Any happy parting words for tonight? I know you're busy. You have another engagement after that, and maybe we can do it some other time. I have so many questions, but of course the time is limited. Would you like to say something to the viewers? I know every day is a new day, and every day is a new blessing, new discovery. How do you find inspiration? What gets you up in the morning? Would you like to share some of those inspirational thoughts with the viewers and maybe brighten their day?
You know, we're going through such a difficult time in our world. There's suffering, there's deaths, there's crime, there's wars, rumors of wars, there's earthquakes, there's pestilence, there's plagues, there are things happening all over the world. And I just want to encourage people that this is biblical prophecy coming to pass. And these things are supposed to happen. And what an honor it is, and terrifying to know that Jesus is coming soon, and we have to be ready to meet him. We have to be ready, because it is not going to get easier. But when you have Jesus, and when you have the God of the universe, and you're right with him, and you're not headed on the road to hell, it is a peace that surpasses all human understanding, a joy unspeakable and full of glory. And the world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. What an honor it is to be used by God in these end times.
I am so privileged to be in your presence today. You know so much. You are a minister. You're so accomplished. You're gorgeous. You have this beautiful voice that I had the privilege to listen to at one of the events, and was absolutely blown away. It's just beautiful, beautiful. And
Which event was it?
It was, I believe, in Deltaplex.
Oh, at the arena?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And I thought, oh my gosh, this lady is amazing, and her voice is just angelic. So I'm really privileged to have you and talk to you today. It sounds like there are so many layers, so much depth to Yasmin. She is not only an influencer, a beautiful, amazing woman, a businesswoman, an artist. She's also a sort of a minister, and somebody who embraces everyone in need of her kindness. So I am very impressed, and I'm glad that we had to talk today. Like I said, I feel like a heathen completely, even though I know a few things about the Bible and I read it on a daily basis, but you know so much more. So I thank you very much for freely sharing it. Again, we're not trying to convert anybody here, but I am glad to see that someone like Yasmin, someone with her convictions, with her faith, is able and willing to share. Whether someone out there finds it akin to what they believe, great. If not, just take the other wisdom keys from today's conversation and enjoy another talented human being, which is Yasmin. And that's what I am happy to showcase. I'm absolutely privileged to have a few minutes with her, and she's very gracious to have come today and show her beautiful self to all of us.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. And we'll do it again sometime.
God bless. Bye.
Bye bye, everybody. Thank you.